Are you working for a boss who changes their mind more often than they change their socks? Do they get super excited when you present a new idea and you think, oh, this is awesome. They love my idea. But the minute you walk out and somebody else walks in, they like their completely opposing idea just as much. You start to get the sense that what this boss likes is being liked. It has nothing to do with what's the right decision for the business or how do we move forward. And really, what you're noticing is that we are not getting anything done. And my reputation is starting to suffer because of it. Ugh, working for an indecisive, flip-flopping boss is awful. So you're stuck with an indecisive leader. What do you do about it? Well, the first really important advice is don't take the bait. So the bait is because they are trying to lure you into liking them, thinking that they're the best boss ever. And that's why they're giving you all this positive attention and reinforcing your ideas when you're together. But unfortunately, they have a whole team of people, and that's why they can't stick their decision when they're exposed to the next person's idea. Okay, so when you are talking with them and they're getting super excited about your idea, don't get excited with them. Stay on the level. In fact, go from talking about the ideas in your plan and why your plan makes a lot of sense to talking about, but here are some of the downsides, here are the risks, here are the things we don't know yet, because you staying calm means that they're not going to get all of the excitement and love of, going up on the uphill part of the roller coaster. But for you, it means you're also not going to suffer the disappointment of going on that downhill when they think about the risks and talk to everybody else about the risks later. So it's really important not to take the bait when they get all excited. Sure, it's okay if they love your idea, but move to what's next. What haven't we thought about? What are the concerns? And really, it's their excitement about the idea is worth nothing until they're excited about it after having learned all of these other aspects and risks to the plan. The second coping strategy, and this one requires that you can get your teammates on board with you, but if you can do that, really work together to say, we are done with wasting our time and our breath pitching ideas one at a time, because we all now know that that time was completely wasted. So instead, we're going to work together in advance to understand what are the different options that we're each advocating for, and let's bring those to the manager in some kind of a meeting, a chance to propose things that are options all at the same time. So the boss doesn't have that same chance to be like, I love this, I love this, I love this. No, we actually are going to look at the relative pros and cons and merits of the different plans all at the same time. Way less chance for the boss to be blowing sunshine at you. And it doesn't feel as good in the short term, but in the medium term, you're going to realize, okay, that way we actually got to a decision and we got to move, which over the long run is a much better place to be. The third coping strategy with your indecisive boss is to move past or through their very vague kind of language. So an indecisive boss likes to just keep things open as long as possible because they don't want to take risks. They don't want to make anyone unhappy. They don't want to say no because they want everybody to love them. So what you need to do is just help them, transition from more into, okay, fewer, let's make a call. So you're trying to help them converge down to a decision point. So while most of the time I'm a huge advocate for open-ended questions to understand how your boss is thinking, well, with an indecisive boss, you're probably just getting a window into the very foggy stuff going on in their heads. So instead, you want to do the opposite. Cut through the fog by asking very clear, closed-ended questions. So if they say, I love this idea, say, am I authorized to start spending the budget? There's not much wiggle room in that kind of a thing. So in addition to asking closed-ended questions, you also want to very obviously document those things that they say. So if there's a whiteboard, write it on the whiteboard, start spending the budget Q1, or in your notepad, write it, circle it, make it very clear that you're documenting the boss's words. And then, of course, as you walk away, get back to your desk and send an email or put in the Slack channel, here's what we've agreed, so that there is a record, so that there's something that everyone can see that says this is the call and now we're moving forward. Helping your indecisive boss to converge is a really key piece of the puzzle. The final coping strategy, if you're having to deal with an indecisive boss, is to change what you're reinforcing them for. So what happens with a lot of these indecisive bosses is they get lots of love, at least in the short term, for this enthusiastic, I love you kind of behavior. And, they don't get the kind of consequences for letting decisions slip and slide that they deserve. So what you want to do is not reinforce them, not give them any positive facial expressions, not give them that grateful tone of voice if all they're doing is blowing sunshine at you. Instead, you want to reserve your reinforcement in those situations and reserve it for situations where they are actually making a call. If you can see them deciding something, reinforce the heck out of that. I know this was a really tough call. I think that we're going to be in so much better position now that you've made this decision. And do that even if the call didn't go your way. If they understand that decisiveness gets their respect, your respect, more than just blowing platitudes at you all the time, that's going to encourage them to start making the decisions that have been backlogged. So shifting your reinforcement, your positive attention from situations where they're showing you the love to situations where they're showing you the plan. Working for an indecisive, flip-flopping, whichever way the wind blows kind of boss is awful, kind of like nailing Jello to the wall. And there is nobody who deserves to work for that kind of a boss. But if you're stuck in that situation and you can't get out, well, there are some things that you can do. First of all, recognizing it, seeing some of those telltale signs of the person who, I thought they just loved me, but no, they actually just, only show me the positive stuff to my face. And then they're completely unreliable afterward. So understand the signs and then use those coping strategies. So staying calm, presenting the risks up front so that they don't come back to them later, making sure where there's possibility to present multiple options at the same time so that the boss has to have a perspective on the pros and cons, converging their language with, yes or no questions, with notations, with documentation, and then, really saving your lavish praise for situations where they make a tough call, as opposed to just situations where they, take the easy way out. So if you can't escape your indecisive boss for some period of time, it's probably okay. Try these things. They'll help you to cope a little bit more effectively. And in some cases, it will likely even change the boss's behavior, make them the better boss that you deserve. Okay, there are so many other ways. This may not be your toxic boss at all, but I wonder if this one is.